Ben ritrovata da Antonio Vettese. Ciao Antonio.
Ciao Sandro.
Abbiamo tanti appassionati che sono prontissimi per navigare sulle barche della SailGP e magari nello specchio d'acqua antistante New York con la vista di Manhattan.
Grandissimo spettacolo, si vede la città, è bello regattare lì, ma soprattutto è bello avere così tanto pubblico.
Nel corso degli anni la SailGP conferma le proprie qualità, sia dal punto di vista dello show, agonistiche, con i personaggi a bordo.
Ci sono i grandi timonieri, questo è un anno quasi senza Coppa America e quindi sono tutti impegnati, vogliono tenersi allenati, volare sui foil, imparare qualcosa di nuovo e quindi per il SailGP è un anno, diciamo, d'oro.
Le barche sono molto veloci, garantiscono grande spettacolo, poi ci sono velocità assolutamente importanti con le nazioni rappresentate, insomma questa è l'alchimia.
L'alchimia è avere sì degli equipaggi quasi nazionali, perlomeno le bandiere e il core è molto identificato e quindi è una cosa che può piacere al pubblico, anche vedi nella rappresentazione grafica ci sono le nazioni.
C'è la Nuova Zelanda, c'è l'Australia, ci sono gli americani, c'è l'Inghilterra, c'è l'Italia.
C'è l'Italia che sta un pochino imparando, tra virgolette, quel grande campione di Ruggero Tita probabilmente ha provato un po' di frustrazione perché dalla medaglia d'oro del NACRA alla parti centrali della classifica del SailGP non è probabilmente la sua aspirazione.
Tra i protagonisti anche Peter Burling con voglia di rivincita.
Voglia di rivincita, non è più con Team New Zealand e vuole dimostrare di essere ancora il migliore, il più veloce e probabilmente lo è, almeno sulla carta.
Però attenzione perché ci sono diversi outsider, passami il termine, tra questi potrebbe esserci anche l'equipaggio spagnolo.
Sai Sandro, questo catamarano è ancora molto fisico e sono veramente i velisti a farlo volare e quindi c'è qualcosa di più impegnativo che per esempio gli AC40.
Lo seguiremo sicuramente bene anche a cavallo dell'estate col supporto di Rolex, dunque possiamo salire a bordo della SailGP perché sicuramente le velocità sono molto interessanti. Grazie ad Antonio.
Grazie Sandro.
The Spirit of Yachting, un programma in collaborazione con Rolex.
There's a lot of things with life that you don't choose, you know, destiny choose for you. I guess I was brought up in my family never getting told that I shouldn't or couldn't do something, and I think that is very reassuring for women. You feel confident about taking your own decisions. There's a lot of doors that open and closes in your life and some opportunities that come. You just don't say no, it's just, let's go.
This generation of female athletes in SailGP, they are the outliers. They are the pioneers.
I can't tell you how much better you need to be as a female athlete to even get a shot.
We're under pressure, we gotta prove ourselves. We've gotta have pretty thick skin.
There's way more you have to deal with.
I think people might look at me and really underestimate what I can bring to a team. When I step onto the F50, a switch is flipped and I am just ready to go.
She is absolute Iron Woman there.
They're capable, they're strong, elite individuals. Gender is not the most defining trait that they have.
She can keep the speed on her. These athletes in SailGP, these are the best of the best.
This is the Rolex SailGP Championship, looking to make history with Martine Grail at the wheel.
I'm very happy to be the first woman driving the F50. I'm taking that opportunity full on, and I want to do the best out of it because, I'm a sailor and I want to be like the best sailor there is out there.
Martine Grael is iconic, the first female driver at SailGP. I think people externally probably don't realize how big a moment that is. It's like having a woman drive an F1 car, have a woman doing something that no one expected her to do.
I saw you, I thought it was me. The hair is exactly the same. My parents met each other racing, and my mom competing directly against my father, and she's very small, but she still, competed very fiercely. And I take in a lot of that, strength from her. So I've learned a lot from not only my mom, but a lot of other female role models, that they might be like not a superhero, but, they were a superhero for me.
We have 2 children, Marco and Martina. They are 1 year and 8 months apart. We started sailing with them very young. Sometimes I would give some tasks, like, for example, I gave Martina one time, once I gave Martina, can you hold the rudder for me? Because I want to fix something on the mast foot. And she, I don't like to steer. And then she was fine.
She's very focused. When she goes for something, she really goes for it. She did 4 Olympic campaigns. You go out of Olympic sailing and they come to avoid what do I do next? So this challenge with the SailGP was good timing for her to learn something new and go for something big and try to succeed.
So for female athletes, there was no long-term career opportunities in this sport. Our performance pathways, I suppose, started by having a rule at SailGP to have 1 female athlete per boat. So what you have to do is give an opportunity to give them more time on the water, to enable them to prove from performance data that they should be on these boats. It's not quotas, it's not putting female athletes because we have to. It's giving them, I suppose, the chance to shine because we know that they can and they deserve to do that.
Martine Grael would not be in this league if she wasn't good enough. It wasn't because she was a female or anything like that. It was because she was the best candidate for the job. It was pretty clear she had the ability. She's got that grit. This is tough.
Martine, welcome. All eyes are going to be on you this weekend.
I think we're all looking forward to get done the real thing, on the water. I love challenges, and this is one of the greatest challenges I've ever gotten myself into. When people tell me I can't do something or put barriers on my way, that doesn't stop me. For me, it's really inspiring, seeing other women doing their best in their moment of history in time.
During the 1920s, it was clearly a male-dominated world. This 26-year-old woman showed through determination and resolve that women could achieve anything. I'm Andrew Pember, and on October the 7th, 1927, my grandmother, Mercedes Gleitz, became the first British woman to swim the English Channel. It was her 8th attempt. She'd been trying since 1922. She set off in the middle of the night, and it was very foggy, and the water was very cold. So the only way she could navigate was listening out for foghorns and also gunshots coming from the Dover coast. It was a swim of over 30 kilometers, and only a handful of people, men or women, had done that before her. She was a young, working-class woman on her own without any financial support or backing, but she was front-page news. She had a huge impact, and with the money that she made from sponsorship, it all went into a charity that she set up. And that charity still exists today, relieving hardship and poverty for families in crisis. It was a massive achievement. I mean, let's not forget that 4 times as many people have climbed Mount Everest than have swum the English Channel solo.
80 years later, I was only 3 minutes faster than Mercedes when I swam the English Channel. You're at the mercy of the elements, the cold. You're swimming through the dark. You go to breathe. You get a face full of water. You can't catch your breath. There is that inner critic that says, what do you think you're doing? Why are you doing this? You're not as good as everybody else. You just silence that and you just say, no, there's a reason that I'm here. I'm Jane McCormick, and at the age of 23, I swam the English Channel and won the award for the swim in the most arduous conditions. Like Mercedes, I'm a small person, and there was a lot of doubt about whether or not I could make it. In fact, one gentleman actually did say to me, "You will never get across." At that moment, I thought, yes, I will. I'll show you. The most important factor is mental strength, and that carries no gender bias. You may be slightly different physically from our male counterparts, but as a woman, we have the mental strength as much as a man, so I was going to make it no matter what.
Female athletes bring a psychological grit to the table that is stronger than male athletes. I'm Dr. Josh Claypo, clinical psychologist and performance coach, and I work extensively with female athletes and high performers. A female athlete's superpower is their emotional intelligence. The ability to understand not 4 emotions, but 40 emotions. To be able to make decisions based on that is something that sets female athletes apart from almost every male athlete I've ever met.
100%. I think female athletes bring a completely new way of doing things, and sometimes better, sometimes worse, but it's different. And I think you always learn from different.
Pressure at the back of the box is good. Onto the fast intersection.
The strategist role on the boat is a really crucial role. You're essentially the eyes of the boat, and with 12 boats all blasting around a very small race course, that is very, very key to avoiding crashes and close calls.
Not crossing, not crossing. Need to duck. Need to duck.
I guess the most critical part is the communication of all of those things, because I could just talk the entire time about everything that's going on.
Bit more pressure coming to us. Tiny bit of room. We can try and get in here.
A lot of the skill in the strategist role is knowing when the moment is to say your piece, knowing whether it outweighs, in terms of importance, the other stuff that's going on.
They've just tapped. We can hit them.
Strategy is the X's and O's. What play are we going to run? Anna Mills is going to take in all this information and then determine what to communicate.
Fast boat's good for us or the other boats.
That's very strategic thinking. Is that completely unique to female athletes? No. But what female athletes have is the ability to incorporate the psychological factors of their actions on their teammates. It's almost like a radar.
I come in with humility, I come in with a really good understanding and a pulse of how everybody is reacting with one another, being able to help navigate a disagreement on board or tension that's in the air. I really do think it helps the culture of the team. But beyond all that, I'm just a really good athlete.
Lower, faster.
Your physical ability, your cognitive ability, your emotional ability, that's it. That's all of it. You've now tapped into your full capacity as an athlete. That is peak performance.
Well, I think foiling is the biggest change in our sport, certainly in the last 30 years.
And here we go.
Versus speed, they broke the 50 knot barrier.
And now it's a drag race to the finish line.
Insane grand final race.
From the handles.
They just go so fast.
Big horsepower.
It's almost like a whirlwind.
Look at the speed.
The amount of G's that you feel and the adrenaline, your heart rate's high. You just have to be so hyper-focused. It's exhilarating. It's like everything you want as an adrenaline junkie. Girl power. Yeah, my position on board is G2, which is basically grinder 2, and I'm also the jib trimmer. You'll see me just spinning the handles. We are kind of the, powerhouse of the boat. I mean, you are going through the pain cave and you're just hyper-focused. Sometimes you finish a race and you're like, whoa, what just happened? And so it is a very physical role, but also quite mental because I am focusing on trimming that sail well, so it's a more cognitive role as well. You know, when it all comes together, you feel like you're nailing your job.
You know, when you look at Anna, the thing that we have to keep in mind is, you know, you compare to your relative strength and then body weight. And so what we did is that we run a strength test and then power test compared to the male athletes. You can see that she's either at or above average in terms of peak power and strength. You know, we always think that males are always stronger than female, and I see it in the data, I see it in the gym. Anna is actually more powerful based on body weight than the male athletes.
Anna's an absolute beast, right? I mean, you watch her do pull-ups at the gym, and it's daunting. Nobody has to ask her to grind all day. And yeah, I mean, she's an Olympian, she's smart, and she's driven, right? She's got all those pieces.
So we have this societal narrative around strength, that men have it and women don't. Women are called the weaker sex. We need to get away from that narrative. I'm Maggie Mertens. I'm the author of Better, Faster, Farther, How Running Changed Everything We Know About Women. We see athletes like Anna Weiss, who's a full-time grinder, right? She's using her arm muscles to power that boat. It's changing messaging around strength. Because when we think about strength as only belonging to men, you're just taking away the opportunity from half of the population, right? And that might actually be someone who might be better. We're just now learning that, you know, females are actually better at endurance sports. Women's muscles can actually repair themselves, recover faster. That's gonna have huge implications on sport.
Anna's on the boat because she deserves to be there. The story's real. We don't have to fake it. Millions of people got to see Anna Weiss in the New York Times talking about the boundaries she's breaking, right? I mean, she's already inspiring people, but we have to do way, way more, right? Can't just have 12 women.
I was at a race last year, and I heard someone say, they let women in here, and I was so impressively disappointed that we still live in a world where someone feels the need to even say that and just assume that women aren't capable of even being there. At that point, I was just like, all right, well, I get to go sailing this boat, and this guy doesn't. He's just watching, so, I mean, who's the real winner here?
We have to stop putting women athletes in a box. Just look at what's been achieved in all of these other spheres of society by women. Why shouldn't they be reaching for the stars?
Lying in my backyard looking up at the stars, and knew right then that I wanted to fly. There were no women astronauts back then, but it never really occurred to me that it couldn't be done. I'm Susan Kilrain, and at the age of 35, I became the youngest person to pilot the space shuttle, woman or man.
7, 6, main engine start.
6 seconds before launch, then when the engine's light, you start feeling the vibration. You can hear the roar. You're really shaking. For a pilot, there's no time to be scared. I am continuously scanning all the instrumentation. If you lose an engine, if we use 2 engines, what's going to happen?
Liftoff of Columbia. Enjoy your on-orbit sprint break.
As you lift off the launch pad, you have the G-forces that are pushing on you. After only 30 seconds, you're going faster than the speed of sound. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure being a pilot of a space shuttle. In my Navy days, it was me and 59 guys in this class, and my recruiter had said, try to blend in. Well, there was no way I was going to blend in. I stood out, and I got picked on by the drill instructors a lot. It was sometimes lonely being the only woman in the room. At the end of the 14 weeks, I ultimately finished first in my class, and I did feel the pressure of having to be better just to be equal.
It is hard. It is really hard as a woman in a man's world, I guess we'd still call it, unfortunately. You just get completely overlooked sometimes. It's frustrating. I'm really determined, actually, that it's going to be different for the next generation. Sport, for me, is about inspiring people to do things they didn't think they could do, to believe in being better, whatever background you're from, given that opportunity, and inspiring them to go on and do whatever it is they want to do.
I hope when I was flying in space, there were little Susans on the Earth looking up at me thinking, oh, I want to do that too. I say everything's possible. If you can dream it, you can do it. If the job doesn't require a gender, then why should gender matter? The space shuttle didn't know there was a woman sitting in the pilot's seat. In SailGP, the F-50 doesn't know that a woman is driving the boat, so it doesn't matter.
I don't want to just rock up and be another driver. I want to be the best, coming into this championship with people having sailed already 5 years into this. There isn't like a magic you can do to just like click and get results. There is a gap, but we're making it smaller.
There's 12 teams, best sailors in the world, people with lots of experience in these types of boats. It has been a male-dominated sport. So Martine, she's really a trailblazer for all women in the sport of sailing, and I think she's doing an unbelievable job.
The pressure on the first woman to do any role is huge. It's almost incalculable. You are seen as representing your entire gender. It's a second job to not only perform as an elite athlete, but to tune out the noise that comes with being a female athlete, with being maybe the only woman in the room, the only woman on the boat. It also means you probably want it more, right? You've been told no 1,000 times. You've been told you don't deserve to be here.
I'm kind of person that if somebody tells me I can't do something, it's almost like they're telling me to do that, you know? The truth is I get really inspired when somebody doubts me. But I know that some opportunities in life open very often for guys, and for girls they don't.
As a woman, you have to work twice as hard to probably get the level of respect, twice as hard to reach positions of leadership. My name is Rachel Balkovec. I'm currently the only female director of player development in professional baseball. My job is really to oversee and facilitate every area of development for a baseball player. So nutrition, strength and conditioning, sports science, tracking, also pitching, hitting, base running, different areas of defense. It's every part of developing a player. When I first started in the game, it was incredibly hard. It was pretty grueling and lonely and, yeah, dark, I would say at times. Men felt it was appropriate and just totally normal to say, oh, sorry, we don't hire women. I mean, just mind-boggling.
Okay, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Ah, ahora está enfocando, ahora está enfocando.
I knew that if I wanted to make a really broad impact on an organization, I needed to be in a front office role. Now that I'm hiring, now I can hire women and not even think about it, right? Not because I'm actively looking for women to hire. I don't have that bias in me. Male, female, whatever. Whoever's the best person for the job, they're going to have the job.
Yo sé que tú sabes, pero tú tienes que recordar en el momento, tú sabes.
It's going to be another generation of young athletes growing up seeing people like me in these roles. Then those people are going to become adults and fathers, and they're going to raise people who, oh yeah, that's normal. There's no reason why we shouldn't be seeing women at every single level of professional sports. If you're good enough, you're good enough.
For me, it's really important that women have leadership roles. We're not passengers. We really need to lead and drive change. So SailGP was set up to redefine sailing, future-proofing it, and men and women didn't have the same equal opportunities in our sport.
It's so important to have women making decisions in the boardroom as much as on the boat. Having someone like Lindsey Vonn on our board of directors is so inspiring. Knowing that, a woman like Lindsey is making a decision, that's where the real change can happen. I always go back to that quote, if you see it, you can be it. So, maybe like a 10-year-old girl now looks and sees Lindsey Vonn and they say, I want to do that. And by the time, hopefully, she gets to the age where she, can have a real job, that there's not just one Lindsey Vonn, there's, 4 or 5 Lindsey Vonns.
I can't imagine being 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old me and seeing female athletes racing on these boats alongside the men. I think that would just be like mind-blowing. And obviously we've got Martine come in, driving. That's a massive, massive step. It's huge, but I do think the biggest steps are going to be when we start to see 2, 3, 4 female drivers, a few wing trimmers, a few flight controllers. That's when we know we've really made a mark.
For the first time in SailGP history, we say congratulations to Martine Grail and her team, winners in New York City.
I think how I'm inspiring girls right now is by trying to put my best results out there. You know, there's a lot of young sailors dreaming about this. By the time that they get in the SailGP, they're going to be so much better than I am right now, because the whole sport is in evolution.
Martine is such a perfect role model, not just for youth sailors like me, but for all young sailors in the world. She has such a confidence around her, and she shows you that if you really commit and push through your goals, one day you'll actually succeed in them.
For the next generation of female athletes, a huge pathway's opened up. The doors have just been completely blown open for what's possible within this sport. You know, we look at the skills positions, right? The driver, the flight controller, and the wing trimmer. We now have a lot of opportunity. We have the sim where you can do your muscle memory side, but it's time on the water, right?
3 years ago, female athletes didn't have any responsibilities on the boat, and now we're just as important as any other member. And I think that's something amazing to see. And we did all female training in Dubai, and we were all able to really push each other on the water, but as well help each other. And I think we all genuinely just want each and every one of us to thrive in their position and to really get the sport to the next level.
In 1900, the first female Olympic gold medalist was Switzerland's Helene de Portal. She was a sailor. She competed as part of a mixed crew with men and against men. 125 years later, here we are having the same conversation. And should it still be a novelty that a woman might be the best person for the job?
SailGP, it's about athletes, not about men and women. It's the best athletes in the world racing together.
The Martine Grails, the Hannah Mills, the Anna Weisses, the Nicole Vanderbilts. These athletes are the game changers. They've literally changed the game. They're the ones lighting the fire.
You have to have a first. You have to have the person that's going to break down the doors so that everyone else can hopefully walk through it.
And look at Martine Grail right on that limit.
It's never been so cool to be a woman in sailing. I'm doing something that hasn't been done before.
This is the pinnacle of the sport. The level is just so unbelievably high, regardless, male, female. It's the best sailors in the world. End stop.
You have the resume, you've worked hard, you do deserve to be here.
You cannot get much better than that.
Yeah, this is just the start.
Next time on The Spirit of Yachting, the Rolex TP52 World Championship.
The Spirit of Yachting, un programma in collaborazione con Rolex.